Subcommittee will come to order. Today we're going to have the markup, the Seapower and Projection Forces markup. I know it is sometimes around here that we like to see how fast we can move through these markups, especially after we've had a pre-markup and then a pre-markup. But I think it's important that we not do that for this reason. The public is looking at us and realizes this is a very important markup. And so while Mr. Courtney and I are both going to waive our opening remarks to speed things along, we want to make sure our members take whatever time they need if there are any questions or amendments that we have as we move forward. So we'll now proceed with Mr. Courtney's permission to mark up H.R. 1735, the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2016. Without objection, the first reading of the bill is dispensed with, and copies of our subcommittee mark and directive report language were made available and distributed to member offices on Tuesday. Is there any discussion or questions on the subcommittee mark? If there is no further discussion, the chair lays before the members the text of the subcommittee mark for consideration, and without objection, the mark is open to amendment at any point. Are there any amendments to the subcommittee mark? The gentleman from Montana is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would offer my amendment, which would require the Air Force to brief this committee on the current location.
First of all, will the clerk pass out the amendment? And without objection, the reading of the amendment will be dispensed with. And now the chair recognizes the gentleman for 5 minutes for the purpose of explaining his amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would offer my amendment, which would require the Air Force to brief this committee on the current locations and utilizations of the Air National Guard units flying the C-130 aircraft equipped with what's called the Modular Airborne Firefighting Systems, or MAF kits. Many of you might be aware that since 2005, the C-130s have flown over 3,500 sorties to assist state and federal firefighting crews. The tags are working through a plan to reposition and retire some of the assets, and as they work through this plan, some of the C-130 squadrons are going to be replaced by the C-17s. Some of the MAF units that are on the East Coast would be made available to the West, where the forest fires are, and it really is a plan to make sure we have the right assets in the right locations. And, Mr. Chairman, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I yield back.
Is there any discussion on the amendment? Is there any further debate on the amendment? If not, the question is on the adoption of the amendment offered by Mr. Zinke. So many as are in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the amendment is agreed to. Are there any further amendments? Question now occurs on the adoption of the mark as amended. So many as are in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the mark is adopted. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from California, Mr. Hunter, for the purpose of a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the subcommittee report the mark as amended favorably to the full committee.
Question is on the motion of the gentleman from California, Mr. Hunter. So many as are in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. A quorum having been present, the ayes have it, and the motion is agreed to. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. Without objection, members have 5 legislative days within which to submit written statements into the record, and that's so ordered. I also ask unanimous consent that staff be authorized to make necessary conforming technical and clerical changes and to remove from the mark provisions as amended, provisions that would cause the mark to refer to other committees or would result in additional direct spending or would result in an earmark. Without objection, that is so ordered. There being no further legislative business before the subcommittee, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much. Joe, thank you.